to talk about what makes the defining characteristics of jazz. What makes jazz different from other genres? How do you know when you're listening to jazz music? And when my students ask me this, although there are many ways that you can say, oh, well, this is jazz music if these elements are present, because today so many styles are hybrids of jazz, and I, of course, don't consider myself part of the jazz police. I'm not a historian at all. I'm a musician and I love jazz music, but I can give you a couple of things to look for and listen for. And if these things are present, you're probably listening to jazz music. One of the most important elements is a swing feel. The way the rhythm feels, that thing that makes your toe tap, that thing that makes your body sway to the music, that feel is unmistakable and necessary for good jazz, for a good feeling, for that feeling of dance that makes you want to dance and participate. The core concepts that some of the jazz pioneers put into the music. When those things are present, you'll know it. You won't have to ask, am I listening to jazz? Because your foot will tap and your body will sway and you'll be dancing away. But you could be doing that to just about any style of music. So what other, what element, what thing makes sure that that swing is there? Well, it's a bass line. A bass line that we're going to hear one of our jazz bassists on campus play in just a moment. But you'll kind of hear a sound that goes like that, like it's a sound just walking away. And that gives the feeling of and clapping. And that comes from the African-based origins of the music and from the spirituals and gospel, the slave songs, the work songs, that feeling of rhythm, those defining characteristics that were part of the African-American music and the people who participated in creating the music, that's their contribution. And when that element is in there, it's unmistakable. So we're going to hear musicians play with me in a few moments some of that swing feel. The other element that's necessary and a defining characteristic of jazz is improvisation. When you have improvisation, what does that mean? Improvisation is spontaneous creation, spontaneous composition. You're making it up at the moment. You're not making it up out of just thin air. There is a very structured, organized way that you approach spontaneously creating. And improvisation, mastering improvisation takes a lifetime, most jazz musicians will tell you, and it can be as simple or as complicated as any particular musician may endeavor. But we can explore some very basic elements of improvisation. I can look at a piece of music and I can sing what the composer wrote and intended for us to hear, and I can change things. I can change the melody, I can change the rhythm, and I can do what is called vocal improvisation and scatting, which we'll hear a little bit later too. So let's take it a little step by step. I'm going to start with a ballad, Body and Soul, one of my favorite, and just play a little bit of it for you and sing a little bit of it for you. And I'm going to try to sing it as straight as possible so that what the composer wrote on the page is what you're going to hear. So, my heart is sad and lonely. For you I sigh, for you, dear, only. Why haven't you seen it? I'm all for you, body and soul. Okay? And I actually changed the last note there. Sometimes it can be a bad habit not to sing exactly what's there in the melody, but I'm going to use that as an example for you. Now I'm going to change the melody. I'm going to improvise the rhythm a little bit and maybe a couple of notes. So, my heart is sad and lonely, for you I sigh, for you dear only. Why haven't you seen it? I'm all for you, body and soul. I spend my days in longing, and I'm wondering why it's me you're wronging. I tell you I mean it. I'm all for you, body and soul. So there I did the second verse as well. And both times I changed what the composer has written. So the ability for a jazz musician to learn how to improvise and to come to a delicate balance of respecting the composer and adding their own personal expression and contribution is what's expected for a jazz musician. If you are straight and do exactly what's on the paper, that's considered more classic. That's considered sometimes pop music, or in other forms of classical music. You're expected to read and perform right what's there. But as a jazz musician, you want to develop and know the structure and the form so that you can then take the freedom to create in the moment, to improvise.